Are the refs in the NHL taking let them play a little too seriously? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pucked Up Podcast. I am Chris, hosting you on this intergalactic hockey ride that we call the playoffs. I'm your guide this week. Joined with me, as always, are three of the best goddamn people I know, D, Danger, and Maul. We are about 3/4 of the way through the first round of the NHL playoffs. It's been pretty goddamn wild, guys, don't you think?
It's my favorite time of year. This is like Christmas for, hockey people. This
Absolutely.
is great.
Very true.
Oh yeah. No, I agree 100%. Let us start off how we normally start with some massive PWHL news.
Hell yeah, buddy. We have some big news coming out of the PWHL this week in the form of an official expansion announcement. The team that has been announced will be playing in Vancouver, British Columbia, set to begin in the 2025-2026 season. They have not yet named the team, and they will not name them for their inaugural season. They will just be PWHL Vancouver. And then I think this time next year, we'll probably get the announcement of what their actual name will be. They did, however, reveal its primary color, which is Pacific Blue, and its secondary color, which is cream. The team will operate that way for a while, for the whole season. So I think it fits well with the palette of some of the other teams, though it will be interesting when we see who the next team is. The PWHL has said that they are going to announce a second team and that they will likely announce it before the start of the next season.
I hope so.
You're kind of running out of time, so maybe hurry that the fuck up. But we don't know when that's officially gonna come out. They didn't give us any sort of information.
I heard rumor that it might be Seattle.
That is the rumor I also heard.
All right, I was gonna say, as long as we've heard the same thing, that's the rumor I'm hearing, is that it's probably gonna be Seattle. So I like the idea of them going to the Pacific Northwest.
Interestingly, Jana Hefford, I saw a comment from her where she specifically called out that just because everyone thinks it's Seattle doesn't mean that it will be. And so I'm like, is that because you're trying to like downplay it so that it gets to be a surprise? Or are we all somehow fucking wrong?
You're not surprising anybody. Future Chris here to pop in to say, right after we finished recording on Wednesday morning, the PWHL did finally confirm that the 8th team to enter the league and the second expansion team is in fact Seattle. So all of the rumors we heard were correct. They just decided they wanted to wait, like every other time, right until we finish recording to just actually confirm our rumors. Back to past us.
Next.
Who's the most Western team right now? It's Minnesota, isn't it? Or Calgary?
Western or Midwestern?
That's their most, the westernmost team currently.
Oh, currently, yes.
I want to say it's either Calgary or Minnesota.
I mean, I'd have to look at a map to figure out where the fuck Calgary is.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I assume it's right next to New Jersey.
Yeah, it's
New Jersey.
Oh, you guys missed out on some brilliant content before the podcast started.
Before the podcast started, yeah.
I mean,
I'll be honest. I'm just very happy that they're doing PWHL and then the city name, and they're not going the hockey club.
Dude, again, I'm the only one who likes that fucking name.
I don't hate it. It could be better. I'm excited for them to get an actual name.
Yeah, and a cool mascot.
Yeah.
But that's my 2 cents. I'm happy. Yeah. More teams, more expansion, and I'm glad that they're not doing weird shit with the name.
I'm a little surprised that one of their team's options for expansion right off the rip, if you're going to go west, isn't a California team. That's actually a little surprising to me.
I'm not, because it seems like they went with potentially cities that went through the takeover tour, and
I think that's what they did.
And so I think that's what they did. I think they stuck to that. which I think is smart. I mean,
best
that
way
way
to do
you
it.
know you have the market there.
Right.
Which they did say that it was part of the enthusiastic response to the PWHL Takeover Tour, including a tour high sold-out crowd of 19,038 at Rogers Arena in January of this year. So that's why I was like, okay, yeah, that makes total fucking sense. This team will join the league's single entity ownership structure under the Walter Group. So every team is under that as of right now. They don't have individual owners by the sounds of it. And then
PLL structured like that too. So is Major
Yeah.
League Soccer.
So the PWHL draft will be June 24th. So we'll see how that fits in with that draft coming up, and if maybe we get an announcement for another team before then. They didn't really give us any information other than a Pacific Blue and Cream. Have fun, ladies. Bye. And that was it.
Curious if we're only getting the announcement for Vancouver. I'm curious to see if that next team will be announced for the 26-27 season instead. So they'll do one and then the other, or they're just gonna like wing it.
From what I heard, it is going to be this year. So again,
they might want to do it
was
before
Vice
the
President of
draft.
Operations Amy Shear told the Associated Press, while some might say Seattle's the obvious shoe to drop, that doesn't mean that's where we're going to go. So we'll see what the following weeks or months bring, saying it would be reasonable to expect the PWHL to expand to 2 teams for the start of next season, according to Amy Shear.
And when is the draft? May 24th, you said?
May 24th. Or sorry, June 24th.
Oh, June 24th. So you got 2 months to figure out where you're going.
And I think they know. I think that they're just trying to build excitement, to be honest with you. Which, again, makes sense. They did say that the full schedule is set to be released in the late summer. Fans can place a time-stamped deposit if you go to the pwhl.com to secure priority access to season tickets for Vancouver's historic inaugural season. Once ticket packages are released. So if you are a Vancouver native and would like to get in and be one of the OG season ticket holders, make sure you head to the pwhl.com to reserve your seat now. And it does look like they have quite a few options there as well, which I'm going to see. So premium membership deposits have already sold out as of time of recording.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then
good. Season ticket membership deposits are still open, it seems like.
I assume they're going to be playing at Rogers Arena. Yeah.
Now is the best time to do it because these are the cheapest the tickets will ever be.
Oh, yeah.
So you can join as a founding season ticket member, and the deposit for that is $50 per seat. To be a premium founding season ticket holder, which is the one that is sold out, was $200 per seat.
That's reasonable.
That's nothing.
That's still reasonable.
Cheapest it'll ever be.
Yeah, the first option that went was the highest level, which included prime center ice seating and access to a private members only lounge with additional enhanced benefits to be confirmed later on. The one that's still open is access to exclusive events, merchandise discounts, and a special annual gift. So again, they had a limited number of those, and they are gone, baby, gone. But still $50 if you have it, you can reserve. I think it's up to like 4 seats at a time. Or at least that's what I've seen.
And if that's per game, that's still you're looking at probably what, $2,000, $2,500 for the season. That's very reasonable. I paid that for when the New England Black Wolves existed in the National Lacrosse League when they were in my area. We paid probably $3,000 for season tickets, and we got like 16 games, 17 games. So like, that's very reasonable pricing.
Very reasonable.
And you might as well capitalize on the Canucks being kind of bad right now. This way, you have the PWHL team that's got a shot at being good, so you can capitalize on the market.
Yeah. Now, the PWHL hasn't announced whether they're going to do anything like the NHL does, where you have to sort of give up players for this new team that's opening up. Because there is because there's still so much female talent out there, we don't know. But there will be an expansion draft of some kind.
I
They just haven't
imagine.
announced any of the details. Yeah. So we'll see more about that. And then the other piece of PWHL news is the 3 stars of the week is still in operation for them because they're not in playoffs yet. So we still get to have a little bit of fun over here. The 3 stars of the week as presented by Shark Beauty Canada. As always, forever and always, we start with our 3rd star of the week, which is Klara Peslarova, the goalie for the Boston Fleet. On Saturday, in her 2nd appearance of the season and her 1st since a relief stint in February, Peslarova contributed a 29-save performance to the Fleet's 3-0 win over Toronto and became the 3rd PWHL goaltender ever to earn a shutout in her 1st career start. She joined Schroeder and Minnesota's Marie Rooney, who recorded that achievement during their inaugural seasons. Peslarova has not allowed a goal in her PWHL career, which spans 5 full periods of action. In her February 16th debut, Peslarova played the final 40 minutes against Minnesota and turned aside all 15 shots in Boston's 4-2 comeback win. Sunday against Toronto, she had the luxury of the lead just 2 minutes and 35 seconds into the game when Lexi Ajita scored on Boston's first shot of the game. The goal was the 10th score that Toronto has permitted in the first 5 minutes of play this season, but by far the most in the league, and helped Fleet snap a string of 3 regulation losses to pull within 2 points of the second-place Scepters entering the final week of the regular season. Our 2nd star is Corinne Schroeder, a goalie for the New York Sirens. Lots of goalie love this week, which we love to see. Schroeder made the PWHL history Sunday in the Sirens' 2-0 win over the Frost at Xcel Energy Center. Notching a 2nd consecutive shutout for the 2nd time this season, she became the first goaltender to record 4 in a campaign, surpassing the 3 Toronto's Kristen Campbell compiled during the inaugural campaign. Schroeder made 33 saves in the game, the most in a shutout this season, and extended her scoreless streak to 120 minutes and 33 seconds. Schroeder, receiving 3 stars recognition for the 4th time this year, has also the longest shutout streak at 178 minutes, 16 seconds, which was from December 29th to January 15th. She helped the Sirens survive a first period in which Minnesota outshot New York 17-6 and didn't have a lead to protect until Taylor Girard scored her first goal of the season at 11:07 of the 2nd period. The game stayed at 1-0 until Peyton Levis slid her 7th shot of the game into the empty Minnesota net with 8 seconds remaining in regulation. In the game, Schroeder raised her career save total to 1,005, becoming the 3rd PWHL netminder to reach 1,000 or more. And our 1st star this week is not a goalie, but is still on defense. It's Ashton Bell of the Ottawa Charge. After scoring just once in her first 24 games of the season, Bell scored twice, including the shorthanded jailbreak game winner in Saturday's 3-2 win against Montreal. Bell's first career game-winning goal freed Cheyenne Darcangelo from the penalty box and delighted the crowd of 8,576, the largest crowd at TD Place in team history. Bell had provided a 1-0 lead at 10:38 of the first period with her first goal since December 6th, also against Montreal, as the Charge opened the scoring for the 18th time this season. She finished the game with her first multi-point performance of the season and her first since the opening game of the inaugural season. Bell's 4 shots on goal Saturday were also a season high, 1 short of her career best, 5 against Minnesota, as the Charge extended their winning streak to 3 games and matched the season best streak they mounted from December 29th to January 7th. So with that, we do have some stats updates, and there is a very clear 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at this point in time. In 3rd place, we have Hillary Knight with 70 points. In 2nd place, we have Laura Stacey with 80 points. And in 1st place, surprising no one, Marie-Philippe Poulin has 90 points on the season.
Crazy.
And that's it for PWHL News.
What a goat. She's
I mean,
unbelievable.
How about what a stat for Klara Peslarova to be like, how many goals have you given up in your career? None.
0.
Bam.
Bitch.
What a goals against average to have. I don't have
Right.
one.
Come on, Budweiser, where's her cup?
Where's
What
her?
the hell?
Yeah, where's her
Right.
can? She's kind of the queen of beer right now.
Yeah, give it to her.
No, that's actually pretty massive. But D, you are not currently done. We are done for the day with our lovely ladies of the PWHL. Let's switch over to the boys because we have some finalists for some pretty big trophies that are coming.
We do. I forgot that was me. Yes, we do. Thank you so much, Chris. So first of all, we have the Vezina Trophy finalists have been announced, starting with Connor Hellebuck, goalie for the Winnipeg Jets. We have Darcy Kemper, goalie for the Los Angeles Kings, and Andrei Vasilevsky, goalie for the Tampa Bay Lightning. As a reminder, these are voted best of the position by NHL general managers. And we will find out who won that, I believe, when they do draft day. I think is when we find that out, or sometime roundabouts to there. Hellebuck went 47, 12, and 3 in 63 games, which was tied for the NHL lead with Vasilevsky. He led the position in wins, goals against average with 2.00 and shutouts with 8, and was second in save percentage at .925 amongst goalies to play at least 25 games. He allowed 2 or fewer goals 40 times and 1 or fewer 27 times. He's also previously won the William N. Jennings Trophy for helping the Jets allow an NHL low 191 goals, including shootout deciding goals, during the regular season. Winnipeg averaged 2.32 goals against per game and won the President's Trophy as the team with the best regular season record, going 56, 22, and 4. Kemper was 31, 11, and 7 in 50 games for the Los Angeles Kings and finished second in goals against average with 2.02 and third in save percentage with .922. His 5 shutouts tied him for 4th. The 34-year-old helped finish the season, finished second in the Pacific Division and allowed the second fewest goals this season, 206. He is a first-time Vezina finalist. And then Vasilevsky was 38, 20, and 5 for the season, second in the NHL in wins, 4th in goals against average with 2.18 and save percentage with .921, and tied for second in shutouts with 6. He faced the second most shots, 1,716, and made the second most saves, 1,581, and played more minutes than anyone at that position, with a total of 3,743 minutes and 5 seconds. He helped the Tampa Bay Lightning finish second in the Atlantic Division and qualify for the Stanley Cup playoffs for the 8th straight season. So all of the remainder award finalists will be announced over the next few weeks. So if you aren't tuning in, be sure that you check back as we announce more of those. But we do have the second set of finalists that have been named so far, and that is for the James Norris Memorial Trophy. So the James Norris Memorial Trophy is given to the best defenseman voted by the Professional Hockey Writers Association, so the PHWA. And again, that'll be announced whenever. Those 3 players are Quinn Hughes with the Vancouver Canucks, Cale Makar with the Colorado Avalanche, and Zach Werenski with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Hughes won the Norris Trophy last season and is a finalist for the second time. He had 76 points, 16 goals, 60 assists in 68 games for the Vancouver Canucks. His 1.12 points per game tied with the highest of his 7-season NHL career. And his assist on Dakota Joshua's goal in a 5-3 loss to the New York Rangers was his 400th NHL point made and made him the second Vancouver defenseman to reach the milestone after Alexander Edler. He assisted on Jake DeBrusk's overtime goal that defeated the San Jose Sharks at Rogers Arena and tied Elder for the Canucks record in his 432nd game, less than half of the 925 that Edler played. Oh, so that was a typo. It is Edler. And then they made a typo in it. Elder. Okay, so I'm not crazy. Fuck you, NHL.com.
Not on that
Again,
one.
Anyway.
proofread.
Yeah. Now I look like an idiot. Cale Makar is a 5-time finalist, and he won the Norris, the Stanley Cup, and the Conn Smythe Trophy all in 2022, and finished third in Norris voting each of the past 2 years. Ooh, sorry, Cale. He has 92 points, 30 goals, and 62 assists, and was plus 28 in 80 games for Colorado. He is the 9th defenseman in NHL history to score at least 30 goals in one season, and the first since Mike Green had 31 for the Washington Capitals. Woo woo. He's also the first of the position with back-to-back 90-point seasons since Paul Coffey and Al McInnes, and set NHL career highs in power play goals with 12, shorthanded goals with 2, shots on goal with 246, while averaging 25 minutes and 43 seconds of ice time per game this season, which is third in the league amongst all skaters, not just defensive players. Werenski is a first-time finalist for the Columbus Blue Jackets, was second among defensemen behind Makar with 82 points, 23 goals, and 59 assists. and broke the team record at the position in all 3 categories and average ice time, with an NHL best of 26 minutes and 45 seconds. He was also 3rd among all skaters with 298 shots on goal and is the 9th defenseman since 1997 to finish the season with at least 80 points. So we will see what comes out of that, who will win there. I will say the next award is going to be the Ted Lindsay Award, which is Most Outstanding Player, as voted by the NHL Players Association. So we will have that information for you guys next week.
Hell yeah. I mean, it's kind of amazing to see Connor Hellebuck on there. It's almost like I said he was going to win the Vezina back to back.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is pretty wild to see the both winners of last year's trophies being finalists. That just goes to show that obviously talent always shines even when your team doesn't do well. I mean, look at Quinn Hughes and look at Vancouver. I believe, seeing as we mentioned at the top of the show that we are about 3/4 the way through our first round of play, Maul, I believe you have updates for us on what those first round matchups look like currently.
Yeah, and let me tell you what a wild series it's been so far. Up until the games yesterday at time of recording, so that would be Monday, the Western Conference was all tied up 2-2, all down the board. And the Eastern Conference was kind of the same, all 3-1, all down the board. Weird statistically that was able to happen.
Yeah.
Kind of cool, you know. It's like I said, it's been kind of a interesting series so far. As of right now, we have Winnipeg and the St. Louis Blues tied 2-2. We have Dallas and Colorado. They played last night, so Monday, and Dallas was able to take one. So now it's 3-2. Dallas leading. At time of recording, we have Vegas and Minnesota tied 2-2. We have the LA Kings and Edmonton Oilers tied 2-2. The Toronto Maple Leafs and Ottawa Senators are 3-1. Toronto's leading that. We have the Florida Panthers leading the Tampa Bay Lightning 3-1. We have the Washington Capitals leading the Canadiens 3-1, and then we have the Carolina Hurricanes leading the Devils 3-1. Tonight, again, at time of recording, there are 4 games that are scheduled to be played. Game 5 for the Maple Leafs and Senators. This could make or break the round for them. We have Game 5 for the Devils and Hurricanes. This can make or break the round for them as well. We have the Golden Knights versus the Wild. So this will give us the opportunity to see who's going to take the lead and potentially win the series for them. And last but not least, we have the Oilers versus the LA Kings. Again, tied 2-2, and this could help one of them get a strong lead to win the series. That is all we have for playoff updates, and I can't wait to see the Maple Leafs win tonight.
So, what has been the most impressive performance so far in the playoffs for each of you guys? What do you think so far? Who has impressed you the most in the first round?
Oh, that's tough. I would say St. Louis has impressed me because being 2-2 with Winnipeg, the team that has been just dominating all season long,
Yeah,
that is impressive to not be 3-1 or even have been the first 4 and out. Means that there's still a lot of fight left in the Blues, which I was not expecting, and I don't think I've said that they were even going to make it to the playoffs when we did our projections at the start of the season. So I think that has impressed me greatly. That they've
been hot since the Four Nations. They came back with a fire, which is fantastic to see.
And I mean, when they won Game 3, they won by 5 goals. They dropped 7 on Winnipeg. Like it's not like they're eking a lot of these games out. There's one where they whipped the shit out of them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and then they've also beat them 5-1 in the next game.
Yeah.
So that's also a pretty significant beating as well.
Oh, for sure. You win by 1 game by 5 and then 1 game by 4. It's like you're showing the best team in the NHL. They're like, hey, don't sleep on your boys. And again, I think that's the beauty of this time of the playoffs. These are interdivisional rivals that are playing each other. Like, these two teams have met several times already this season, so I think that just propels the aggression, the aggression, and like the urgency, which we will talk more about aggression a little later. Danger, who's impressed you so far?
Good question. And a tough one. I was proud of my guys, the Wild, winning 2 back-to-back against Vegas. One in Vegas, one here at home.
They played real well those first 2 games, though. They played real well all 4.
Well, we lost the first game, and then it was the second and third game. I think we won.
Yeah.
And then you forced overtime in the fourth.
Yeah, and lost.
Which was a hell of a finish.
Yeah. It was for sure. Other than that, no. I mean, Florida is a great team, but going up against Tampa Bay this year, I think Tampa Bay has done well so far. So the fact that they're kind of falling behind shows how good Florida really is. Same with like LA and Edmonton, they're tied right now, but Edmonton's a great team. So for LA to be
LA
2-2
came out
with
hot
them
too, and they stomped them in the first
pretty
game.
Impressive. Yeah, they really did. So I think those two, other than the Wild, stand out to me.
That's fair. Mal?
Yeah.
The 2 teams that stand out to me right now, it's going to be kind of a shocker, but the Ottawa Senators, they shocked the hell out of me because they were down 3-0 and they came back. I mean, they could have continued, but they rallied and came back. And I'll be honest, like, they still have a shot to win the series. You know what I mean?
Weirder things have happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They can fight back and win that. So, round of applause to them for not giving up and just putting Toronto back in their place and just being like, hey, you're not going to sweep us. You're not 4-0 in us. You want this, you earn it. Absolutely respect that. Also, we get more hockey, so it's a win-win for everyone, right?
Right.
The other team that surprised the hell out of me, or not really surprised because they did this last year during the playoffs as well, but the Oilers. The Oilers were 2-0. Between them and Ottawa, they were the only 2 teams that everyone was like, oh, shit, are they going to get knocked out without even having a chance? And they both rallied back. I mean, Edmonton came back from a 2-0 deficit and tied the series. And now it's anyone can take it. Are we going to see Ottawa do the same thing and force a game 7? I don't know. I like close games. Yeah. We are in playoff hockey. I don't want to see people get blown out of the water 7-2 or 8-3 or whatever. I want to see close games that are nail biters that force overtime or go down to just a wrong line change or something stupid that the other team can capitalize on. That to me is the best possible hockey that we can see. And again, I love the Leafs. That's my team. But at the end of the day, I just want to see good hockey.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. I am impressed with Ottawa's ability to take a team that is, and this is no disrespect to the talent of the Ottawa Senators. That team has a lot of great players. I mean, I could think of just 2 right off the rip. I mean, you've got Sanderson, you've got Brady Tkachuk, you've got Tim Stützle. Like the team is good, but with the offensive output that Toronto's been putting forth this season, the fact that you've not only hung in there, but you brought that team to OT 3 straight games, that speaks volumes to me. I'm impressed with how amazing that Colorado-Dallas series is. Like, I was expecting that because I picked Dallas over Colorado, and I was expecting that to be kind of a bit of a lopsided, but listen, that team has some brand new life in it because Cap is back on the ice. So obviously last night, as the time of recording, for those who are watching this, the Monday night game was I don't think Colorado showed up, but they've impressed me. I'm impressed with Montreal for not whimpering into the night. And we will definitely get more into the chaos of that later on. But also, the one thing I said last week that Danger touched on, because I said it last week, I said everyone's counting Vegas as getting this round off because of Minnesota, and Minnesota has made them fucking earn those 2 wins. It has not been easy, and that team is tough. I think if there's a team that is gonna surprise anyone and make a deep run, it could be Minnesota. I think they could absolutely make a deep cup run. But I like I said, I have a feeling that series can absolutely go 7. And I still believe that series is gonna go 7. But again, first round of the NHL playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs are always a whole other sport. But the first round this year is shaping up to show why I had said I can make a case for all 16 teams winning the cup.
Yeah,
for
100%.
sure. Danger.
Yes.
Our cold open has a bit of meaning because it's been getting a little fucking feisty.
A little bit crazy, and we'll go over more of the specifics when we do our injuries, suspensions and fines segment a little bit later on. But to give you kind of the TLDR version of it, now that the playoffs are in full swing, they're bringing a blend of heated rivalries and on-ice drama. And we wouldn't expect anything less, of course. In the Eastern Conference, tension between Washington Capitals and Montreal Canadiens reached a boiling point in their first round series, leading to fines totaling over and much over $30,000 were issued for unsportsmanlike conduct during pre-game warm-ups and on-ice brawls between games 3 and 4. Both teams have now racked up 37 penalties so far in the series,
ridiculous.
which is insane. But showcases how physical and emotional and intense these first round matchups really can be. Right now, Washington leads the series 3-1, and the eyes on the victory are on the victory in Game 5 with forward Alexei Portras, I never say his name right, expected to return after his foot injury. Meanwhile, the series between Ottawa and the Toronto Maple Leafs, Ottawa's Nick Cousins, no shocker there, was fined for a puck-flipping incident targeting Toronto goalie Anthony Stolarz during warm-ups. Senators coach Travis Green did downplay the matter as playful familiarity between former teammates.
When did they play?
Don't quite think that that's what it was.
When did they play
Toronto
together?
did take a commanding 3-1 series lead with an overtime win last. I have no idea.
I'm trying to figure that out. I don't even know when the fuck they played with each other.
Like Little League, probably. Like they were in the same PE team.
That's
They
gotta
played,
be it.
on the pond behind one of their houses one time at a party.
They
So
had
they're
to
so
have,
familiar with each
'cause
other.
I can name the 3
fucking Nick
teams that
Cousins.
fucking Stolarz played for, and none of them were teams that he put. No, you know what? They were Florida. That's right. They were teammates in the Florida Panthers.
There you go.
Still,
Totally
regardless,
forgot about that.
I think it's slightly less friendly.
Oh,
Yeah.
We all
God.
know a Nick Cousins. Like it, I don't think that man knows what friends are.
That right there, if that had happened in like high school or travel or anything, like when I was playing, if you started taking pre-game shots at my goalie, you are getting your ass whooped right then and fucking there. No judge, no jury, straight to executioner.
Yeah.
That's
So,
fucking yeah.
We'll see. I'll break down all the numbers and specifics here in a bit, but it is quite insane at the moment.
Well, and one thing that I found interesting too was that, like, due to the current conflict between Washington and the Canadiens, the head coach of the Canadiens was like, the league has just talked to us about some things that they're watching out for in this series, and they specifically called embellishment. And then, here comes the Caps. And so apparently the league is telling them things. Like, they have told them that, because then Spencer Carberry did also say that the league warned them about unsportsmanlike play and that they were watching pregame warmups in specific, so don't do anything stupid. And then the Caps turned around and did something fucking stupid with Mac. But apparently the NHL has been going to them and saying, we're really watching out for this. But then, as Chris alluded to, well, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. You know what? I'll calm down.
No,
I've got thoughts.
And you will have your time to definitely air those thoughts very soon. Yeah, I mean, it has been, and not even, we haven't even covered the Lightning Panthers series, because that is a fucking blood feud if I've ever seen one.
Which
they are taking
I feel
dirty
like it
shots
always
at
is.
each other.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Well, it was like the Monday night game. Fucking Kucherov's on a one-on-one breakaway, and Sam Bennett gets a 2-minute for slashing because he fucking axe swings his stick like he's cutting wood, snaps Kuch's stick right in half. Kuch is like, can I get a fucking penalty shot? Like, I was like, God damn. It's we have entered a whole other fucking atmosphere of just violence currently. And
they're so angry and they're so at each other's throats. I mean, what was it the other day, the Caps versus the Canadians, and the fight in the benches?
The whole ass team brawl. Was
that the game that there was like 37 penalties issued after the game?
Yeah.
So with that one though, what was super cute and funny about it was that Ryan Leonard and Lane Hudson used to be on the same team.
Yes.
And so they're just watching all of their teammates fight each other as they're just holding hands side
it was
by
amazing.
side, watching from the background. Love it.
I had to laugh at Tom Wilson just on the bench, just going, that's what you're doing. I'm like, Tom, you're gonna get yourself killed, bro.
He was like, that's for one guy in particular, and he knows who he is. I'm not going to say his name, but I think I've learned that I should probably shut up more.
It's so fucking good. The playoff hockey, bro.
It's so good.
It's so good.
We'll talk more specifics later, but been quite insane.
It's been entertaining. And that's just, we've only talked about the Eastern Conference shit. The Western Conference hasn't, like, the Oilers and Kings has been a little chippy, but again, those are division rivals that face each other a lot and they play each other really hard. I've seen maybe one or two little chippy moments with Minnesota and Vegas, but their franchises typically have been rough with each other too. Other than that, the Western Conference is pretty chill. The Eastern Conference is like, holy shit. We are all here for blood, and that is the only thing that is acceptable.
The worst part has been that the Caps, all of their games have been during lacrosse time, so either practice or games for me. Because of course, the weekend, the one time that they had, like the Sunday game that they had was during the middle of my game, so I couldn't even watch all of it. So I am having to from my phone just obsessively check scores, and so I've missed so much of the blood and the death and the destruction, and I've had to watch it later in clips, which sucks.
Yeah, I know. It's been unfortunate timing of Mondays and Fridays when I'm streaming WWE content, and I'm like, I got wrestling on my computer. I'm looking up, watching fucking hockey because I'm not gonna miss them, and it's crazy. I mean, I have the Toronto Ottawa game on right now. It is definitely an interesting situation, and we will be talking about that more in a little bit. But we have another 2 names that have been added to the recently unemployed list in the NHL from the head coaching position. The other day, April 28th, so as of time of recording, Monday, GM for the Pittsburgh Penguins, Kyle Dubas, announced that Mike Sullivan, who has been the coach of that team for 10 seasons, is officially out of a job. For those that remember his contributions to the team went back-to-back Stanley Cup championships in 2016, 2017. It's been a rough it's been a rough couple years for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I understand this move. I get it. I think we've all collectively agreed that with the roster that team has, there's kind of zero excuse for them to be missing the playoffs. Like, I see this move. I do like that it was addressed. That Kyle Dubas said he had about a 5-minute phone call with Sidney Crosby to explain, hey, this is what I feel is best for the organization. Which, again, I appreciate that a general manager is going to call the team captain to be like, hey, I just want you to be the first to hear from me that this is the decision I'm making. When asked about Crosby's possibility of moving after this coach change, he just simply was like, no. Because, again, the media is so fucking horny for them trading Crosby. It's like, how about we talk about some other things for that team? How about we talk about their lack of consistency? How about we talk about goaltending being a struggle? How about we talk about for what they gave up for Erik Karlsson? He hasn't done fucking shit. Like,
but there were so few high drama trades this year. Like, I mean, shit happened, but not like last year.
Yeah.
Where we were like, what the fuck? So, like, I think that people just want the drama. And
Pittsburgh trading Crosby would be like Washington trading Ovi. Let's be fucking real. It's never gonna happen. You have a better chance of seeing Pittsburgh trade Evgeny Malkin, which is also never gonna fucking happen.
Hey, never say never.
The rumor is that Mike Sullivan is the leading candidate for the head coaching job with the New York Rangers. That has not been confirmed, but the GM of the Rangers came out last week and said that because there was still a lot of uncertainties on what that was going to look like. But he had said if he did get fired, then that would be his first choice. Also came across my desk before we started recording. It has been announced in Vancouver that coach Rick Tocchet will not be returning as coach. In his second season, obviously, in his first season, they made a very hard run at the playoffs. They were very successful last season. They made a deep run. This year, they were 6 points out of making the wild card spot. So there is going to be a lot of shakeups. Obviously, the GM has said they're not even sure if they're going to have leading goal scorer Brock Besser on the team next season. Elias Pettersson has also expressed thoughts of possibly leaving. I've also heard rumblings that Quinn Hughes might be wanting to leave. So I think what might end up having to happen is a complete retool of that team for next season. We could see some new faces in new places next year, but I don't know. Part of me feels like this is a little premature with Rick Tocchet, but again, we saw all the bullshit that they put Bruce Boudreau through.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like there's other problems in Vancouver that might stem a little higher up.
Mayhap.
Like, I'm no expert. I don't know what you guys think, but to me, that sounds like one of these things is connecting and one of these things isn't.
I think even more conspiratorially, this is what, like, our 11th coach fired this year, which is roughly a third of the fucking league.
Yeah.
So there might be something a little bit more systemic in the league that we are having such frequent turnover with head coaches. I mean, no other sport gets rid of head coaches the way hockey gets rid of head coaches.
Right. Yeah, I mean, football maybe. That's about it.
Yeah, but even then, we didn't see 11 new head coaches in football this season.
I don't
Like,
know. I
this
think like
is an
4.
abnormality. Yeah.
I think
So I
like
think
4.
that maybe it goes to talk about, expectations in the league. And then also maybe for the repeat offenders, right? The teams where we're seeing consistent turnover, a la the Vancouver Canucks, it might be organizational and they might need to take a deep, long look inside.
Now,
Right.
this is what our third coach, if I remember off the top of my head, that's being fired after 2 seasons. Do we feel like this is another situation where this might be a little unfair to fire Tocchet this fast? Because I mean, the success they had last year, they made a
Mhm.
they made the second round of the playoffs last year with a team that everyone wrote off already before the season started. It's very similar to kind of how the Caps are doing this year. Like they were just written off at the beginning
Well,
of the year and they played well. So do you think it's fair to just fire him right away?
I think in this case, it is less fair than I think the conversation we had last week about Greg Cronin being let go. There
Okay.
is only because, and hear me out on this,
Okay.
because there was major headline news about locker room drama between two players that they did end up deciding to
They
separate.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it all but confirmed by their actions, right? And so I think that it's kind of unfair to say that like Rick Tocchet is on the line for those behaviors, for those players not being able to get along with each other, because sometimes like it doesn't matter what any of us do. I can't make a person not be an asshole. And
Yeah.
I'm not the one as the coach that's making decisions as to whether or not they're still fucking employed. So he can't do anything about it if the general manager is going to keep the player causing all the issues on the team, then I just have to fucking mitigate it and stop the bleeding. So it
Right.
does seem a little bit more unfair to me in the situation of Rick Tocchet versus Greg Cronin. I do get what you were saying last week, Chris, about the
Yeah. But I mean,
Anaheim
that's a
coach being
good
let go
point.
so early. But
That's a
at
very good
least
point.
with this one, like there is something that is a very clear reason as to why they may not have been successful, and it's because of inner team fighting.
Yeah. And I mean, look at the same situation in Boston that we had, which
Mhm.
is clearly there might have been more
Mhm.
to that than we thought there was. That
Well,
also
well,
could have
and
been
that-
a very
Right.
separate situation, but
and that's what I'm
Yeah.
curious is like, is there something underlying that's going on? Because it's like you would think like with the coach's position, there would be some sort of protection or something like that, or something where you can't just walk into work one day and they're like, hey, by the way, you're fired.
I
The
also
You know
protection
what I
is
mean?
that they have to continue paying you a salary potentially. That's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Like
projection. But like
what's going
they say
on
goodbye.
behind the scenes that we're not knowing that is apparently happening to all these coaches?
so allow me to play devil's advocate in this situation to where this also could be not necessarily a coaching problem. Vancouver was without their starting goaltender for most of the season. If I remember correctly,
Mhm.
Thatcher Demko played what, 20, 21 games this season? He was hurt
I don't know what
all
the final number
year.
was. Yeah.
I
Mhm.
something like that. He played a very and I know Danger, we definitely talked about him several episodes that he was on the IR
Yeah.
almost all year.
Mm-hmm.
So we have seen the power of the goaltending. And
Mhm.
we've seen, look, Ottawa Senators are a perfect example. They went from having a bad goaltender to a good goaltender, and that's the difference a playoff spot makes. Who's to say that that team would not be successful this season and have a playoff spot if Thatcher played all year? You know?
Right.
But I think also, I mean, you have a Norris Trophy nominee in Quinn Hughes. So you have defensive capability. So is it goalie that is just sucking the life out of the team, or is it a lack of offense? Which again is fueled by that whole offensive drama between Pedersen and what's his face?
JT Miller? Yeah.
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 I mean, that
Hard to
is
say.
that's
I
fair.
think.
I mean, let me pull up their stats really fast because I don't remember them off the top of my head. Shocking, right? It's funny. I have this I have this like shtick that I'm a stats guy. I just happen to know a lot of this.
Google's his secret source.
Yeah. He has it embedded in his brain.
Believe it or not, there is a lot of stuff that I just happen to catch and then know. You know,
ChatGPT is secretly powered by Chris.
I
Right.
definitely don't use
Every time
ChatGPT. That is that's your thing.
No, what I'm saying is every time someone asks it a question, it's you on the other side being like, dumbass, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Dumbass. That'd be crazy.
kinda like-
Anthony Davis has X many wins this season. Yeah.
It's kind of like that old college humor video where it's like, if Google was a real person. Well, Chris is ChatGPT, so.
I mean, I just happen to know things.
Except for this. Right here,
Yeah,
right
the
now.
one time I can't find the fucking stats I need. Okay, so I need. They have a goals for and against of a -22. They gave up 22 more goals than they scored. That's that could be a multitude of things. That could absolutely have a factor because of Thatcher Demko. That could absolutely be a lack of consistency on defense. That could be kind of anything. Again, if we're talking about goal scoring, Brock Besser was kind of the only guy that was doing that for a good portion of the year. So,
well, Jake DeBrusk had 28. Pio Suter had 25 goals this year. Quinn Hughes had 16.
yeah.
So they do have a few, but then, well, we can't really count him, can we? Forward had 2. Like so much of the rest of the team, it's like onesies, twosies.
Yeah, where you had like 3 guys that were really kind of doing it all. Where you look at teams like the Capitals, you look at teams like the Panthers, you look at teams like Carolina that are spreading the wealth very evenly amongst everyone. How many players in the Caps have over 20 goals this season? Like 7?
Something like that.
It's fucking nuts.
Hold on, I can
not
tell
us
you.
not us doing research.
Yeah, right. As we go. Oh, well, hold on. It's putting me into the Stanley Cup playoffs. All right, so
the website changes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 players have 20 goals or more, with Alex Ovechkin having fucking 44.
Yeah,
Dylan Strome had 39 in the regular season.
How many players did you have above 30? 4?
Above 30. Dylan almost made it, but not quite. 1, 2, 3. It's just 3.
3? All right.
Tom
Well,
Wilson,
still
Alexei Protas, and Alex Ovechkin.
That's still nuts. Like having that many players above 30 goals is, so
we had
that's
4 players who didn't score a single goal this year. Hendrix Lapierre, who played in 27 games. Dylan McElrath, who played in 17 games. Sonny Milano, who played in 3. And Alexander Alexeyev, who played in 8. So we're talking about like players who aren't getting ice time to even get the potential to get a goal. But even amongst that list, you still had Lapierre having 8 assists and Mac having 2 in his 17 games. So really, Sonny Milano in the 3 games he played this season didn't get a goal, didn't get an assist, and Alexeyev, who played in 8 games this season, didn't get a goal, didn't get an assist.
Yeah.
So that's a huge difference between that and the fucking Canucks.
For sure. Like, again, this tells you how it's night and day on this team. So only time will tell if this is the right move. We will find out. I think this is the best fucking move that Pittsburgh has made. No disrespect to Mike Sullivan. He's done a lot for that team, but it's time for them to try something new.
100%.
Maul, you have our question of the week?
Yeah, so it kind of plays in with what we've been talking about a lot with the fines and how the playoffs have been going so far. So the Department of Player Safety has been issuing fines for unsportsmanlike conduct, but they've seemed to have put their whistles away during the game. So, do you guys think that if the refs called more during play, we wouldn't see so many fines?
Yes and no. Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember us talking about too many whistles last year. And I might be remembering wrong.
No, it's pretty accurate if I remember correctly.
Okay, so, beggars can't be choosers, right? So it's that double-edged sword of would we rather have more whistles during a game and more stoppage of play and how that can negatively impact the games, or have these fines administered after? Hopefully by next year we can marry the two and finally get like a good mesh.
Yeah,
perfect balance. Yeah,
for real.
So it's hard because, again, I hate the stoppage of play every other second like it was last season.
Yeah.
So, but again, some of these things have to be addressed.
I mean, it felt very similar to what we saw in the Colorado Dallas game. In Game 5, it was they were calling everything. I think combined they had like 20 penalty minutes. So
right. So I don't know what the solution is here. Maybe they actually listened to the podcast and took our criticisms last year, though.
If you did, comment below and let us know, because we so want to collaborate with you guys.
Yeah, which member of
G-Bets, dollar sign.
Yeah, I was gonna say G-Bets, dollar sign. Checking us out.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a fair point, Danger, that there is, I mean, we've always talked about it, that in the playoffs, it is a different atmosphere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, however, having said that, I do think that there is, especially in the Caps Habs game, where if the refs had maybe blown a whistle or two, it would not have boiled over to the point where we have Tom Wilson fighting Anderson in the fucking Caps bench at the
crazy.
end. You know what I mean? Like in between periods. I think that if something had happened a little bit sooner, maybe, and on both sides too. Like, I'm not trying to sit over here and be like, the Caps have been perfect in every single way and we've never done anything wrong. Like, that's not, I would never be that person. I think the Caps should have gotten some whistles. I think they absolutely earned a time or two in the penalty box, and I also think that, like, maybe the problem with hockey is that it's not enough like lacrosse, where there are just some penalties or there are some whistles that don't result in penalties but do stop the behavior. You know what I mean? Like, we see that all the time in lacrosse, especially when we talk about like a loose ball push.
Oh, absolutely.
It stops the behavior, but you're not getting a penalty for it.
No.
Right.
You're just not.
In a lot of cases, worst thing you're doing is losing possession.
Yes, exactly. It's just a loss of possession, which there is no real way to just award possession in hockey other than by doing like a
penalty shot,
a free shot on goal. Yeah, a penalty shot. So maybe that is the answer. Is maybe we bring in more penalty shots during the playoffs because it matters more. I don't know. But there has to be some way to both stop the behavior, the overwhelming behavior that is like, let's beat the shit out of each other, let's knock each other's blocks off, like all of that, which is creating, at least in the Eastern Conference, a lot of violence and bloodshed that is resulting in these unsportsmanlike penalties.
I'll be honest,
has to be a balance.
That's a very interesting idea, because if there were more penalty shots in the playoffs, you would see a lot of people smarten up.
But you see,
because
the fans
that is
pissed.
a great way to win or lose a game. Yeah, but you know what? I mean,
but I think that would be something like, no, I think players would have to start playing smarter. If doing dumb shit and making poorly timed hits and all of that kind of stuff and dangerous hits could result in a free shot on goal,
we'd see less like crazy shit. I'm gonna throw two matchups out there, and I want you guys to let me know what they have in common. Panthers versus Lightning, Senators versus Maple Leafs. Do we know what those two have in common?
They're currently tied 3-1.
No, the one is an interstate rivalry and the other is an interprovincial rivalry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're from the
I
same
was gonna say
area.
Tim. Yeah.
What of all of these? Which two series have been arguably the most egregiously aggressive?
Interstate. USA.
Yeah.
USA.
How many
Yeah,
suspensions have
let's
we
be proud of
seen
it.
so far in the first round? How many of them
Two.
have come
Two.
from two fucking teams?
Right.
Like,
And one right
Yeah.
at the end of the
yeah,
Mhm.
post.
It
or
is-
the
it
end
is
of
a-
the regular season.
it is
Yeah.
literally bloodshed, especially in Florida. You've
Yeah.
got 4 players have
Florida
been
man
suspended.
is alive and well.
4 players have
In
been
the NHL.
suspended. It's crazy. I am all for and I don't think it's just the unsportsmanlike stuff. I think it's
Mhm.
the NHL refs are overall letting them play. I think that is a massive thing. We're seeing a lot of
Yep.
slashes not get called, a lot of hooks not get called. We've seen a lot of like cross checks not get called. I
Yeah.
think it's an
Yeah.
overall relaxing of the whistle and just letting them play, which is awesome.
Which we cried for last year.
Correct.
Yeah.
But
You know.
I think that that is a massive factor. Like Dee said, I think that is a massive factor in why we're seeing things go the way that they are. I mean, again, you've got them fighting in the benches in with the Washington Montreal series.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
all could have been avoided. My dad, who has checked out of hockey for the season because he's a Pens fan, he comes up the other day and goes, "Did you see that shit?"
I mean, it was funny. Like, to be honest, we're talking about it like it was the worst thing that ever happened, but it was funny.
Yeah.
They were
but it was
mad at each other, and then the problem was that the refs keep acting like they are like wrestlers themselves, and the way they've been trying to like pull people off of each other has only ended up making the players more pissed. Because
Yeah.
it is one of those things where if you just let them beat the shit out of each other a little bit, like it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
But they're trying to stop the fighting and then
Mhm.
also not awarding penalties, so you can't have both. You can't prevent people from getting their like street justice and also not actually provide justice.
I feel like Wes
So-
McCauley needs to make a phone call to the not the PWHL, the Premier Lacrosse League, needs to call up Matty Palem, who is the head
Mhm.
referee for the Premier Lacrosse League, throw him on some skates and let those two be the refs. They'd have it all under control. Because if you guys have never watched the PLL, watching Matty Palem separate fights between players is
Yeah.
amazing. Last year, I was at a game where 2 guys are going at it, and you could hear him on the field go, "All right, that's it. I'm tougher. I'm tougher than both of you. Enough. Enough. Go sit.
That
I'm
sounds like
tougher
something
than
my
both
dad
of
would
you."
say.
Literally
Yeah.
talking to him like they're his kids. And we
Yeah.
all know Wes McCauley's a fucking gem. So
I love Wes around here. Yeah.
I think while I love the idea of them just letting them play, I think that that is causing a lot of stuff. I mean, we were just talking as we were recording. We'll get to another player was suspended for one of the most egregious fucking elbows I've ever seen.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
And it's the no calls that have kind of
Mhm.
allowed that behavior, because again, this is I think the 4th player in that series between those two teams that has been popped for a suspension because of just how utterly aggressive that
Third.
series is.
So this is the 3rd player. The 4th
The
player,
third,
Yeah.
okay.
the other one that got a suspension was Darnell Nurse from the Oilers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
actually, I think that was
so-
just before playoffs.
That was
started, so.
still regular
Yeah.
season. Yeah.
Because
And then
Brandon
Jesse
Hagel got a
Puju-
suspension,
Jarvie.
if I remember
Yes.
Brendan
correctly.
Hagel, Jesse
Pujujarvi.
Pujujarvi, which was the one right at the end of the regular
Yeah.
season, because he had 2 games in the regular season, 2 postseason games, and then which just happened
Yeah.
today.
It's
Yeah,
mostly
Aaron
been the
Eckler,
fines.
yeah.
The fines have been out of control.
Yeah.
There's been so many.
Absolutely
or-
insane.
Yeah.
And I would say
Now-
Danger will
that
get to the
one-
number in a second, because once we get that, but it's like, fuck, bro. That's like,
Yeah,
that's
it's
it's nuts. We've only played not that many games. We've had less than a
Yeah.
full week of hockey.
hmm
yeah.
Yeah, it's been bad. And not most of those actually. Most of those came from my team.
And again, like I had mentioned earlier, the fucking slash on Kucherov by Sam Bennett, where he literally snapped his stick in half. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, they called that a 2-minute. Obviously, that's all. There's zero question that that's a slash. There's zero question. But it's like, how did we allow ourselves to get to that sort of play? Because you weren't seeing slashes like that in the regular season. Not that aggressive.
I mean, it's because energies are ramped up, dude. Like everyone wants to win the fucking cup. They are battling.
Yeah.
And the Eastern Conference, when they battle for blood.
They battle hard. They play for keeps.
What they do. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it before, how the Eastern Conference can oftentimes be more brutal and have a more difficult schedule to get through the season because of the teams that they're facing in the Eastern.
Especially the Metro. The Metropolitan Division might be the most aggressive division. Although right now it looks like it's the fucking Atlantic Division. So
yeah.
So
I am curious though, with as the playoffs progress, do you think as we get into the next round and then the Stanley Cup final, we're going to see the refs kind of tighten down and start calling more stuff? You don't think so?
This is amazing TV. Why would the league fucking stop this? Yes,
the league
this
is just going to continue to find
this is what they want. This is content.
Honestly, I'm okay with them finding it as long as it doesn't get to that intentional dangerous point. As long as we're not seeing excessive hits to the head, you know,
there's a line we haven't crossed
into the
yet.
boards.
We haven't crossed that line.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of did a little bit.
We have, and he just got suspended. So as long as we continue to see the appropriate response there, then
I'm okay.
Yeah,
with
find
it.
the team $25,000. Let's end the series with $300K in the bank towards the player assistance fund from playoffs fucking alone. Like, I'm kind of okay with it, but at the same time, I do think that at least then expectations need to be better set from the officials. If you're gonna let them fight to the death, then please, for the love of God, just let them fight to the death, and then let DOPS sort out the penalties after the fact. Like, stop getting in the way of it and breaking up the momentum, because all they're doing is pushing that can of aggression down the road, and then you see bench brawls.
And then look at how great, but also look how great the games have been, because we're at a point where tensions are so high. Again, to bring it back to the Montreal-Washington series has been great to watch, because it's been very physical and the level of play is insane. But Ottawa and Toronto, the last 3 straight games have been in OT, and those teams are wailing on each other. Like the aggression is only elevating the play.
I mean, what was the game the other day where the guy lost 2 teeth? I can't think of his name right now.
Oh, that was Caps. That was Alexander Alexiev lost 2 of his teeth.
2 teeth.
Yeah.
Thankfully, they were able to find them in the ice, but
they weren't. They're not back in though. He does not have those teeth.
That man gave up 2 teeth for this sport.
Yeah.
That's why it's important to keep your mouth guard in your mouth. By the way, don't chew on it. Have it hang out the side. Just
don't pull a Steph Curry, guys.
Don't be Anthony Mantha.
Don't be Anthony Mantha. Don't be Stephen Curry. Keep that shit in your mouth.
Yeah. Also, don't wear the ones that are basically pieces of paper.
Right?
They need a little bit of girth on them. There's a reason that they're there.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not going to wear a full bird cage, then you protect the chiclets. I mean, as much as Wit and Biz on spitting chiclets will tell you, no, you're fine. No. Keep these in your fucking head as long as you possibly can.
It makes old age easier when you don't have to just drink your food.
Facts. Do you have any thoughts on this, Maul? You've asked us. What about you, bro?
Yeah. What about you, Maul?
I mean, I think I agree with you guys that it is a fine line between, okay, let them friggin' play the goddamn sport, and hello, you gotta call something? They're literally killing each other, knocking each other's teeth out on the ice.
Gonna get hurt bad.
I don't think we've found the balance for that yet. I am worried that if they keep going the way they're doing, we'll see less aggressive hockey because these players aren't going to want to consistently be fined, because again, that's money coming out of their paycheck. I would not put my heart and soul into it if I'm facing fines and stuff like that. So I hope that they kind of change it a little bit as we go and try to find that balance. Because I do think that getting the penalties and stuff during the game is a lot more impactful on the player and their performance than penalizing them after.
Yeah. No, that's
Because
fair.
like if I do something, okay, I mean, I'm a father, right? If my kids do something bad, I'm going to reprimand them now when it's impactful and it's going to mean something, instead of wait until like the next day and be like, hey, by the way, you should have did that yesterday, because they're going to be like, okay, yeah, I don't give a shit. That was yesterday. I've moved on.
Right.
Yeah, I literally had that conversation with a ref this weekend because in my lacrosse game, there's a rule where you have to have a pass before you can shoot at their level because it's developmental.
Yeah.
And one of our girls was not listening, was not paying attention, went down to take a shot without getting her pass in first. And she missed, it hit off the pipe, and then it went out of bounds. And so the result of it was that it went to the other team because it went off the pipe and went out of bounds. But we were upset as coaches because we were like, no, you should have given them a free clear, because it's not just the and they're like, she was like, the result's the same though. And I was like, no, it's not, because you didn't tell our player she did something wrong. So for all she knows, it's because she took a shot and the other team was closest to it when it went out of bounds, and so they got to maintain the ball. But the reality is that she lost the ball because she didn't follow the directions. She didn't follow the rules.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it is super important to be like, hey, you're fucking up here. Get your shit together.
Well, because that's the thing. If you take care of it then and there, she's going to feel the embarrassment of like, oh shit, I didn't do what I was supposed to. She's going to feel the discouragement of like, oh, I let my team down. And then she's going to feel the impact of the moment.
Loss
You
of
know what I
possession.
mean?
Yeah.
Now, if you, as her coach, talk to her the next day, she'd be like, I don't give a shit. That was yesterday.
Yeah.
Even if
you
so
talk to
it's
them
like
5 minutes later, they don't remember.
Yeah,
What
and
was
I
that? I
mean,
don't know.
I hate to say it, but the way I look at coaching, and I'm not a coach, but I'm a dad, and I look at it kind of the same. Like, the way I take care of my kids is the same way that if I was a coach, I would take care of my players. Like, no, we're dealing with this now. And I think that is going to be more impactful to the performance of the players and the shit that they're going to try to get away with. Because if they're like, hey, I'm gonna try to see if I can get a cheap shot behind the ref's back now or in front of the ref, and I don't have to sit in the box, and I'll just take the $4,000 fine or whatever. All right, whatever. See you guys in the next game.
Yeah,
So
pretty much.
I think that they need to kind of reevaluate what they're doing and try to find that balance. But it's hard because it's so easy to go one way or the other. And I feel like, I mean, my father-in-law's a ref, so I hear it all the time. You're always going to piss off someone. That's the nature of the game. You're never going to make everyone happy. What can you do to either minimize it or kind of make it as fair as you can across the board? And I think that's what they kind of need to start focusing on. So,
yeah, that's fair. If you guys want your questions of the week answered, hit us up in the comments. Send them to us on social media. We accept carrier pigeon, as always. Moving on, speaking of the fines and suspensions, Danger, do you want to tell us about a lot of those?
Yeah. So for the suspensions, first, like we talked about earlier, we do have Brendan Heigl from Tampa Bay for interference against Alexander Barkov. Got suspended for 1 game. The one that just came through while we are recording is Aaron Ekblad, who just returned from his 20-game suspension for violating the NHLPA performance-enhancing substances program. Hit Hagel, who is back for 1 game from his suspension, resulting in Hagel not returning to the game, and he will miss Game 5. Ekblad was +1 with 4 hits in the Panthers' the Panthers' 4-2 win in Game 4, which gave Florida the 3-1 series lead. It was a pretty egregious and clearly intentional elbow to the face. It was pretty nasty.
Oh yeah, it was very obvious. There was intent there.
Yeah. So, no shocking there. Now, this is probably going to take me longer than the injuries report today to go through all of the fines. So, starting way back on April 24th, we have Nick Cousins from the Ottawa Senators, who was fined $2,083.33 for unsportsmanlike conduct against Anthony Stolarz, with that puck flipping incident in the warm-ups prior to the playoff game. Same day, the 24th, the entire Ottawa Senators team was fined $25,000 for unsportsmanlike conduct during warm-ups prior to a playoff game against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
The entire team. What the hell?
And they're not the only entire team to get fined.
Oh God.
And I believe that $25,000 is the maximum.
Correct.
If I'm not mistaken. Okay.
Yep.
Then on the 25th, we move on to Josh Anderson for the Montreal Canadiens for unsportsmanlike conduct against Tom Wilson, fined the maximum of $5,000. Also, Tom Wilson was fined the maximum of $5,000 for unsportsmanlike conduct against Josh Anderson. I'm glad that they at least said, hey, no, boys, you're both getting the same penalty.
Yeah.
And they both did get the same penalty during the game, too. They both got
Good.
10-minute misconducts plus a 2 minutes for roughing as well. So they both got matching in-game and post-game.
Out of game. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is good. At least, we preach for fairness here. That is fairness. Then on April 27th, Dylan McIlrath. Yeah.
McIlrath. Yeah.
Are those two L's or an I? I can't tell.
It's I-L.
Anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I figured, but it's that font that looks like it's just two L's.
Yeah.
From the Washington Capitals, got fined $2,018.23 for unsportsmanlike conduct during warm-ups prior to a playoff game against the Montreal Canadiens. Also, Arbor Jacquet from the Montreal Canadiens got fined $3,385.42 for unsportsmanlike conduct during warm-ups prior to a playoff game against the Washington Capitals. On the 27th as well, both teams, Montreal Canadiens and Washington Capitals, got fined the maximum of $25,000 for unsportsmanlike conduct during warm-ups prior to a playoff game against each other. Again, fair is fair. And lastly, Nico Mikkola from the Florida Panthers got fined the maximum of $5,000 for boarding Zemgus
Girgensons. Yeah, his name is tough to say.
Hell of a name.
That's
a great name.
Shout out to Zemgus.
And thank you to our head coach here, D, for totaling this up prior to recording. That gives us $97,486.98 in fines just since the beginning of the playoffs.
That is unreal. We're only through the first fucking
Four
round.
fucking games.
Yeah. So the total is up to $334,393.23 for this season.
Jesus
So almost
Christ.
a third of it is in playoffs
Fucking
alone.
insanity. Yeah.
In the first round of playoffs alone.
And it's not done yet.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
We're not even done with the first round of playoffs. Like we're
Jeez.
3/4 the way through.
Yeah.
Danger's gonna need to pull out her calculator a few more times, I have a feeling.
It is absolute insanity. Now, going on to our injuries. For Carolina, we have Frederick Anderson, undisclosed, expected to be out until at least May 1st. Which, I hate to be the one to break it to you, is like later this week. Fucking insanity.
That's Friday.
When did that happen? It's not fair. Colorado's Ross Colton is out with a lower body injury, expected to be out until at least May 5th. Going on to Dallas, we have Miro Heiskanen with a knee injury on IR, expected to be out until at least May 1st. No other new ones there. For Edmonton, we have Matthias Ekholm Undisclosed, expected to be out until at least May 19th. Happens to be my mom and dad's anniversary. Happy anniversary, guys.
Oh,
Hopefully Matthias will be back by then. Or
Yeah.
maybe not. I don't know how I feel about it yet. For Los Angeles, we have Tanner Janot. Undisclosed, expected to be out until at least May 3rd. For Montreal. No. Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that skips a bunch. I'm just surprised. So Florida has nobody hurt. Yeah. LA just has
No.
one. Yeah, Montreal. Patrick Laine, upper body listed as day-to-day. Sam Motembo.
yeah.
Hey,
correct.
I got one right. At least once
Yeah.
a day. Lower body listed as day-to-day. Alexander Carrier, undisclosed, listed as day-to-day. Nobody for the Minnesota Wild. What? I should have said that before Montreal. I'm just super excited every time my team's not on the injury list. So sue me. For New Jersey, we have Jonas Siegenthaler, undisclosed, listed as day-to-day. Brett Pesce, undisclosed, listed as day-to-day. Luke Hughes, upper body, expected to be out until at least May 2nd. Jonathan Kovacic, sure,
Kovacevic.
undisclosed, expected to be out until at least May 2nd. And Brendan Dillon, lower body, expected to be out until at least May 2nd. Moving on to, gosh, this is more difficult than it should be. Ottawa?
Ottawa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ottawa, we have Hayden Hodgson, lower body, expected to be out until at least May 3rd. Nobody for... Oh, no, I lied. There are two people for St. Louis. Tyler Tucker, thank God for an easy name, lower body, expected to be out until at least May 2nd. Dylan Holloway, lower body, expected to be out until at least May 4th. For Tampa Bay, we have Brandon Hagel, who we've talked about. Upper body, expected to be out until at least May 2nd. And Oliver Bjorkstrand, lower body, expected to be out until at least May 2nd. For Toronto, we have Yanni Hakanpää, who's been out for a while. He's still on IR with that knee injury, expected to be out until at least May 3rd. Vegas has Robin Leonard, who is still out with that hip injury. No shock there. For Washington, we have Alexei Protas. I still can't say that last name right. You tell me
Protas.
every time. Thank
Yeah.
you. Foot injury listed as day-to-day. Martin Ferrari. Knee injury expected to be out until September 15th. Ouchies.
Yeah.
It looks like no chance for Sonny Milano coming back now this season. Major
smart.
setback for him. Which
Shut him down for the
Yeah.
year
It
is
is.
probably the best move.
Yeah.
It is, but that's gotta suck for him. Because he's been out all season, right?
He's played
Or did
3
he come
games.
back and play a game or two? Yeah.
Yeah, he came
I
back.
thought I
played 3
remembered him
games,
being
and
off for
out.
a couple games.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, for Winnipeg, we have Nikolaj Ehlers, foot injury, expected to be out until at least May 4th. That's what I have for you.
Nice.
That's it.
Well, thank you. For those curious, I have Game 5 of Ottawa and Toronto on. That's 0-0 in the first intermission, and we are only 10 minutes in to the Hurricanes Devils, and the Hurricanes are losing 3-0.
Whoa, what a flip.
It is,
The Canes have been
dude.
destroying.
You're
Whoa.
halfway through the first period, and New Jersey's already scored 3.
Bro. I know.
That's-
I'll need to watch that back.
Yeah.
Damn.
Shout out to having my Max tied into my YouTube TV, so I'm just
Yeah.
watching the Max channel on YouTube, which is dope.
Dude, you called it earlier that tonight might not be the night for elimination. Someone
there's
did. I think it was Maul, maybe.
someone
Whoa.
did, but I don't know
Fingers
if
crossed.
I don't know if New Jersey's going down quietly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
So-
think they are.
I think that moves us. Oh, I was like, what motherfucker thumbs down me saying I had to pee in the chat? Fucking
The only
D.
motherfucker that would.
That is so. I haven't
Funny.
seen. It's like, who the fuck? Oh my god, that is brutal. Oh my god.
No peeing for you. How dare you?
Clearly.
Not allowed.
I know.
Vetoed.
Well, oh, I guess this is fitting.
Mhm.
I think it is time for us to round out this show with our obscure NHL Player of the Week. Only for you, Ma.
It's a new thing starting 3 weeks ago.
yeah, the day that he bitched that I didn't hit it.
Yeah.
Our Player of the Week this week is a man by the name of Neil Eisenhut. Eisenhut. It could be either or.
Is he a hoot to hang around with?
He might be a fucking hoot.
Hey,
Oh my god.
I heard he's been possessed by an owl.
Is that what you heard?
That's what I heard.
Well, all right. You heard it from
Fair
us
enough.
first.
That's what he's doing with his time now.
He's just an owl now.
He's just an owl.
Neil!
Yeah.
Neil, what are you doing? Shut up! I'm an owl!
Quit asking me questions.
Neil was born in British Columbia in 1967. This right-handed centerman was drafted 233rd overall in the 1987 draft to the Vancouver Canucks. He played a whole 16 games in this show, all of which coming in the 1990. Oh no, I'm sorry, almost all of which coming in the 93-94 season, where he played 13 games with the Vancouver Canucks. In 94-95, he played 3 games with the Calgary Flames. In those 16 appearances in the show, he had 1 goal, 3 assists, and 21 penalty minutes. But, like always, this man had a career down in the minors. In the IHL, which is essentially the original equivalent to what is currently the ECHL, 135 games, 23 goals, 41 assists, 56 penalty minutes. He had 2 games in the playoffs, 1 goal, 2 assists, 0 penalty minutes.
Boy.
272 games in the American Hockey League. 83 goals, 144 assists, 119 penalty minutes, 17 games in the playoffs, 6 goals, 9 assists, 6 penalty minutes. And he played in the German DEL league. It's Deutsche Elite Liga? Let me double check that.
I mean, I believe
Deutsche Ice Hockey Liga.
Sure.
Yeah. 292 career games in the DEL, 66 goals, 109 assists, 258 penalty minutes, 23 appearances in the playoffs in the DEL, 4 goals, 10 assists, 26 penalty minutes. So, out of everything, he's quite tame for someone that we have we've had on this list. We tend to have people who have those numbers in a season.
Yeah.
Overall, he is not a fully violent guy. His career spanned from 1984 in the minors or in the Canadian Hockey League to 2003, where he played his final game for Düsseldorfer EG. Following his retirement, he became a financial advisor, currently works in that position for RBC in Kelowna, British Columbia. He also continued to play senior amateur hockey, helping the Powell River Regals to the Allen Cup in 2006. And for those that are not familiar with the Allen Cup, it is a trophy handed out in a very specific league. That'll be the Eastern Canadian Amateur Hockey Association. And it's awarded to amateur teams, senior hockey teams. So he did that in 2006.
There you go.
Yeah, so shout out to Neil Eisenhut for being our obscure NHL Player of the Week.
Woo! We did it.
We did it. Now we see Mo.
We did it. Hooray. Dora, Dora, Dora.
Can you say delicioso?
No.
Well, fine. I guess you can also just be a sarcastic bitch your whole life.
I
Okay. 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 All right. On that note, I think that is time for us to call it an episode. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you enjoyed, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, let you know anytime we upload anything new. Make sure you're checking us out on our social medias. We be posting on motherfucking everything now. We on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, YouTube Shorts. We're in your mom's bed
tweets,
too.
Timeline.
That's where we at. We might not be in your mom's bed. Well,
No.
we might. Keep a sharp eye.
definitely in her DMs though.
We have slid into your mom's DMs. If you are still with us at this point, let us know in the comments what your favorite matchup has been so far of the first round. There has not been a single bad series so far, at all. It has all been fantastic. Anything you guys would like to add before we wrap it up?
For our season 3 finale, are you going to tell us what your favorite color is finally?
Might be a surprise. I don't know. I might edge you guys until next season. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I can't let you come yet.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
Hey, at least we asked.
You did. You asked nicely, and I told you no. Keep gooning, you little degen. As I always love to end the episodes, peace, love, puss suitor, and until next time, we will see you motherfuckers in the face-off circle.